Hello, this is Francisco Crebari, and in this video I want to mention two details that I think that are important. The first one are I/O schedulers, and the second one is swappiness. I'm running Manjaro KDE on this notebook, and prior to running Manjaro KDE, I was running Antergos KDE on this machine. And one thing that I really like about Manjaro KDE is that by default it uses the BFQ I/O scheduler, which is not supported in the vanilla Arch kernel, in the standard Arch kernel, by the way. When I was running Antergos KDE on this machine, I had to run the Xane kernel in order to be able to use the BFQ scheduler. And I've used the deadline scheduler, the Noob scheduler, which some people recommend for computers with a single SSD, and the BFQ scheduler. I know that there are some controversies as to which one is the best scheduler for each particular situation, but in my experience, the BFQ scheduler outperforms the deadline and the Noob schedulers, at least for my usage of the computer. And there are some benchmarks that show that the BFQ scheduler has an impressive performance and so on. You can research on that. But in order to see which scheduler you are using, you can take a look at this file, catsys block, I believe SDA, which is my hard drive, Q scheduler. As you can see, I'm using the BFQ scheduler here, which I think it's nice. I like the BFQ scheduler. And then if you are running Arch or Antergos or another distribution, OB Revenge and so on, and some Arch derivative, and if you want to use the BFQ scheduler, a simple way of doing that is installing the Xane kernel and doing some minor configuration. The second thing I want to mention is swappiness. And I believe most systems use 60 as a default value for swappiness, which means that your computer may swap a lot, and that's not optimal for me, especially in computers with SSDs, and I like to lower that. And the value that I use is what's recommended by Arch in the Arch wiki. If you go to the swap page in the Arch wiki, you will see there that they recommend 10. So in order to see which value you are using, you take a look at this file here. So let me cat this file. You see I have not changed the default configuration that Manjaro used when I installed Manjaro on this machine. It's 60. I believe that's what most systems use. In order to temporarily set that to 10, that's what I usually use. You just use this command ctl space vm.swappiness equals the value that you want to use. I believe Debian, if I'm not mistaken, recommends an even smaller value. I'm going to go with 10, which is fine for me. And now it's using 10. Oops, wrong command. Let me get here. Swappiness 10. In order to make that permanent, what you do, you create this file here, and I had already created, but I did not. I had not rebooted the computer. So if you create this file and you include the file, the value here, vm.swappiness equals 10, as it is here, the next time you reboot your machine, it will use 10 as the value for swappiness, which means that your system will first try to use up most of your physical memory before it starts swapping, which is something that I like. So those are two small details that I want to mention. I/O schedulers, and I prefer to use the BFQ scheduler, which is the default scheduler in Manjaro Linux, and it's not supported for now. It's still not supported in the Arch standard kernel, in the Arch vanilla kernel, and swappiness. And I like to use a value lower than 60, and 10 is what I use in most of my systems.